Hello, I am Adalberto Cervantes Rodriguez. I am the creator of the ERP technology and the business database technology that is used wrong by SAP, Oracle, partners, small companies of Indians in United States and almost all the clients. As, as, I, as I told you before in previous programs, basically the business database was created wrongly because they were not using industrial engineering or science and technology as well as the processes. Okay, all these kind of situations are totally wrong, and the CEOs and the owners and the shareholders and even Obama, they are taking wrong decisions. Then it's not only bad decision in the United States but also worldwide. Today we're going to talk about the business database technology, how I think that this SAP and Oracle database are totally wrong. So I'm going to explain in detail what is my main idea and why these guys of systems are really confusing the businesses around the world. As I told you before, I work for the Secretaría de Hacienda y Crédito Público when Salinas de Gortari, one of the front of the 13 richest family in the world, definitely. He was using manual processes and Microsoft Excels to make the bankruptcy of the almost all the companies in Mexico because they belong to the people and they were managed wrongly by the government to make these frauds. Secretary of Hacienda, even though we have 20 years, is covering up all these bankruptcies, legal bankruptcies. And basically what we have is a legal system that was posting in Secretaría de Hacienda y Crédito Público the debit and credits. So you can imagine a big system, legal system, but the bankruptcy was made only using Excel, Microsoft, and manual posting. So talking about the database, I mean, in accounting, it is easily to define if you are a system guy. Okay, so there is a table, and after the debit and credit, the GL accounts, and I don't know which specifically the way that they build this system, but I mean it's not difficult. Okay, if you are a system guy to define the table and fields. Okay, when I entered to the Mexican Petroleum Institute, as Pemex, we have huge legal systems. Not only for doing this kind of process of accounting, because you know the Mexican Petroleum Institute is a resource center with a lot of communication with other resource centers in United States and other countries like NASA, like Los Alamos, for example. So there was a lot of interchange between all these resource centers. Mexican Petroleum Institute is the biggest creator of patents in Mexico. There's no other government entity or private entity focused in creating patents in this case for the Mexican oil company Pemex. So we are really recognized around the world. So Mexican Petroleum Institute is basically the resource center And as a resource center, we have all the areas are related with science and technology. So for me, it was impossible to create something like SAP and Oracle without any scientific base. Okay. In my case, I had to follow all the science methodologies, and that's involved, for example, to have access to the main databases of science and technologies, all the papers, all the resource paper around the world. We can apply to have those papers directly and have the updated information. You know, than the resource paper. I mean, can be even more advanced than 10 years of what we learning in our universities. So for a scientist, that's one of the first steps that you have to do to look for these scientific papers, and I was able to have it as an employee at the Mexican Petroleum Institute. I have a scholarship as well in the Mexican Petroleum Institute, and as you know, as a resource center, basically they're giving scholarships when something is interesting, okay? Because it has to be approved at the highest level of the institute. So there's no other way, okay? So what I'm trying to say is that if I create the ERP technology and the business database technology is because I was in the environment of science and technology working for the Mexican Petroleum Institute. In the case of the business database, I mean, there were different systems, not integrated, of course. But Mexican Petroleum Institute, and especially my boss, Armando Comaduran, told me exactly the idea, the basic idea of the necessities to have a business database. He didn't have a clear idea, of course. In other words, he might be able to create the database technology, but he told me that basically he was thinking that getting involved with regular PCs, okay, with in that moment with DOS, okay. So Microsoft was starting to work. We might be able to have a program that can handle his department, but only has a base to be used at the Mexican Petroleum Institute, and it might be to Pemex as well, because he was well, you know, he was an industrial engineering as well. So basically, he was working with other guys in the same area at the Mexican Petroleum Institute and Pemex, and he was updated of the necessities of both companies. So both companies, they already know that they will need a specialized database. Then it was not we didn't have at that time. So we're talking about Pemex trying to look to cover their necessities, but they couldn't find it in the regular market, so it was not created yet. So we have the system database, but it cannot cover the necessities of a business, okay? And I'm going to explain you why. If you see all the engineering sciences, for example, like chemistry, working at Pemex, you can identify that we were using even simulation computer software. So you can imagine to simulate all the processes of a chemical plant. So we have all that technology. So we can identify that we use a lot of formulas, then we use data, okay? These formulas were coming updated for scientific papers. So it's not to use whatever formula, it's not to use whatever process. So we have to we need to have all the scientific evidence to do that. So in the electrical part, you also see that you have circuit, etc., and you need specifically formulas as well. And there are different kind of math that you can use. Okay. So depending on the level of the processes is what you are going to use. But as a matter of fact, we have to follow the scientific processes. Most of them coming from the United States. All these technologies is a U.S. technology. Okay. Because United States was considered always the country that has the highest technologies. If we compare them what we have today, all this knowledge is coming from Babylonian secret knowledge, no based in science and technology, and basically is to steal our tax money and made accounting frauds. Because I identify that because they are not following any scientific approach. Continue with that. As I said before, I was a student also at the master degree in industrial engineering. So we have interdisciplinary studies, and these interdisciplinary studies involve social sciences. And in social sciences, we can have questionnaires. So we use different kind of statistics to make sure that scientifically we have the correct information as well. So if you see the situation, the methodology is the same in the corporates and my university in all the cases. Only the wrong thing was with Salinas de Gortari, because he was using the secret knowledge. But in another case, my experiences was necessary scientific. So if you can see, the system databases are not using this scientific approach, because it's other kind of sciences. It's not it's not related with the informatics sciences or systems, but this involves more like I told you before, the social sciences, the engineering sciences, and even physics, chemistry, and maths. I mean, then we need to have the data correct for in physics, and then analyze the processes in detail, even in a lab, before even to create the software. I mean, the algorithm to solve these situations. In those years, I used to have knowledge of, for example, of Fortran, COBOL, BASIC. I did my thesis on base of basic language. Then in those years it was considered one of the best ones. And as you see, even ABAP starts using COBOL. Okay. So we have the languages to process the database. Definitely is what not they were not created for businesses. Okay. So when I create the technology, after studying different branches in industrial engineering, I identified that one of the best approaches was to have the modules. So we have different modules, and we have module A connected to module B, and after to module C. So we have an start or an end of the process. Okay. So with this situation, we can have a database. Okay, that has different kind of variables. Okay. Some of them constant, some of them variable or changing. Okay. And for example, in Model A, we can have some of them. In Model B, we can have some of them. Model C, we can have some of them, because each process is going to be different. Like the social sciences, like the engineering sciences, like physics, like chemistry, like math. So the initial approach was not the database of systems, okay? Where you know to analyze the capacity of the information that you're going to have, how it's going to be read, okay? How fast you can find a record. So all these situations are important in systems, but the first step is not to start with systems. Then that's the wrong thing that the SAP and Oracle are doing in business, because the situation is totally different. I mean, you have to start with the social sciences, like in social sciences, like engineering sciences, like physics, chemistry, math. So you start with the process. So we have, as I said before, we have each module. In each module, we have the constants and variables, okay, values. And you can have some in module A, you can have some in module B, so you can have in module C, etc. But I find out doing already this doing this application in real with in the department that I was working, okay, and see really how they were working. So what I find out is that definitely there were values related with each module, and they can interact, okay. So this was very good to know, because most of the systems in those years, they were only related, as I told you before, with a specific business process. It was not integrated, and most of the system guys has Oracle and SAP right now. They're taking only those values has only values of systems in a database. So this is totally incorrect. We have to confirm scientifically that each process and each module, you know exactly which values are you going to see, are you going to use, and this is only can be done getting into resource paper to find out which values are the most important ones, because you don't want to have all the values. This is multifunctional, and in those years, many scientific guys, social science, engineering science, they don't believe that in some way you can filter the most important values and have all the integration. So that's why most of the system guys, they were only part by part, okay. The systems were not integrated in those years. So what I did is basically to find out these kind of situations and see really that science and technology can filter some important values, okay, and see how it was working as industrial engineering in a company. I mean, motion and time studies, ergonomics, production planning, automation. And in that those years we have even computer-aided design, computer-aided manufacturing. All these areas of industrial engineering, we have to manage data in a scientific way, because in other way you can imagine in a production area. I mean, for example, if you are producing beverage, or imagine all the bottles being broke. I mean, because you don't have the correct data, or you're not making the good quality analysis that you require in the food. You're going to produce poison instead. Okay, and this is what is happening today. That's why they are selling us poison. Okay, so there's no more this kind of analysis. It's incredible. They only want us to use a black box that is totally wrong, using this Babylonian secret knowledge. So we definitely need to use all these sciences, mainly from industrial engineering, because as I said before, industrial engineering integrates all the other sciences, and it's going to be the same in the near future and long future. Then all the sciences are going to be together. So basically, we need the modules, we need the algorithm, we need the resource paper to integrate all that. At the end of the process, of course, then you have to be more technical in the part of informatics, how we're going to use the databases according with systems. But as you can see, the approach is totally different. So that's why right now they're taking wrong decisions, because they don't they don't even think than the social sciences, the engineering sciences, physics, chemistry, maths. We already have a business data, but it works in different way. That's why I'm calling you business database, because we have the models, we have the algorithm, and basically we're going to work together with all these systems in one. Okay. So as you can see, the approach is totally different of what we are using today, and that's why Obama, that's why our government, that's why our CEOs are taking only bad decisions, because they're not continue using industrial engineering as we have 20 years ago. So this new Euclidean Illuminati infiltrating the corporate, they don't know anything about that. So I hope that this program made you understand the specific situation about the bad use of the databases and the difference. So my approach is the regular way that we have to do it. At the end of the process, we're going to go to the system database of these guys of informatics, of course. But we need to start with the business database, like it is done in social sciences, it is done in engineering sciences, it is done in physics, chemistry, and maths. Okay, thank you very much for listening, and God bless you. Thank you very much.